We there?
Starting.
All right.
Awesome.
Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to the Unite the People radio show. Show number 2. It's me, Caesar McDowell, and Mitch McDowell, my brother.
Mm-hmm.
Today, we're joined by one of the legends, one of the greats of all time. If anybody knows anything about rap culture, anything about pop culture, really, we're joined today by the great E-love.
E-love.
Thanks, guys.
There we go.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Tell me a little bit about yourself, E-love.
Real quick, sold about 40 million records. Started off in the 80s with a guy named Rick Rubin and Russell Simmons. There was a special artist that we were working with and producing. His name is LL Cool J. He's actually headed to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame October 30th in Cleveland, Ohio. I'll be there. DJ Cut, Bobcat, the whole crew will be on hand.
He should have been there, huh?
Well,
You guys were the first.
there's a lot of politics involved in these
But
things.
y'all literally the first.
Yeah.
Right, you know what I'm saying? How you not take the first into the Hall of Fame? NWA came way later.
Yeah.
I love NWA, though. All right.
It's a lot of politics.
Right. But we got the brother E-love with us today. We're going to be going through a few things today. First, we want to say thank you to everyone for tuning in last week. The show was a success. We aired in 121 or 22 countries on CPI radio. We stream live, of course, here for our viewers here. We wanted to say thank you to everyone. There's a few special shout-outs that we wanted to give. One being Martha Vega, Amanda Frosto, Donna Hall, who we know.
I know. I met her.
Yeah, you met her before?
Yeah, I met her.
We met her, too. It's actually our mother. Ann Carnes, Mitch Fields, the big Mitch Fields, personal friend, great guy out of San Bernardino, California. Sandra Mocare, D Sharp, who we see all the time on social media, so big shout out to D Sharp as well, and Pepe Salez, Amanda Busby from Facebook. We just want to say thank you to everyone for your comments and your questions, and what we didn't address last week, we'll try to make sure we address today. There's quite a few questions, but we also have the great E-love with us again, so we're going to hear a little bit about what E-love is doing and some of the things they've done in the community, him and some of his organizations that he deals with, which are a lot of great organizations, and they've done a lot of great things. Before we get to anything else, I do want to mention, if I look like I'm in pain and sitting kind of awkward, my back did go out a few days ago, as you might have saw on one of the posts that we put on our social media. But hey, the show must go on. We must do it. So we're here to make it happen. Mitch, is there anything you wanted to say before we get started?
I just want to say it's hot in here. But
it's definitely
man,
it's definitely out in here. It's our second show, and the second show. As we progress within the next week or so, we're going to be bringing on lawyers, some of our legal team members. We'll have them on each week to go through and answer the questions that we receive via social media. You guys DM us anything you need, anything you want answered. You guys let us know, and we'll get to it. Absolutely.
Now, what Brother E-love here is doing, you guys are gonna be amazed. And he's not just doing it in California. He's doing it all over the country, and he's involved. I mean, the stories I just heard while we were getting ready, I'm like, wow. Okay, so let's hand it over to
Brother E-love.
E-love. Let us know about your corporations and what you're doing, brother.
Sure. We'll start talking about VR Innovative. That's the name of the company. We're doing a 4-city tour. It's called Concerts for COVID. Everybody's very familiar with the COVID situation. That's global. And for example, I have a really good friend of mine. Their brothers, they're based in Colorado. One decided, they're twins actually, Earl and Floyd. One decided to take the vaccine and one did not take the vaccine. They both came down with COVID. One went into the hospital. That's the one that did not take the vaccine.
Wow.
The one that took the vaccine, he shook it off. 2 weeks later, he's up and around. His brother went into the hospital. Then he had a stroke while in the hospital from COVID. So now he's trying to get back on his feet. So we're having concerts for COVID. We're going to have 4 venues. One is going to be in LA, Colorado, Kansas City, and New York.
Wow.
Where the 4 cities we're going to donate money to 4 other cities. So it's going to be 8 cities in total that's going to be getting money for COVID for people that's lost their income, that lost their job because of COVID. We're going to have we're going to have a little funds coming their way from the concerts. And we have everybody that's going to be playing on these concerts. We have some of the household name artists. I mean, everybody knows all these are household name artists, major records, and they had a great career, still having a great career. So we're gonna have 4 incredible shows, concerts for COVID.
Killer.
I'll be the host.
That's beautiful. And anything E-love does, if you guys know E-love or any of his work, is going to be big. Definitely big.
Yeah, appreciate that. Yeah, thanks.
Could you tell us earlier? You were telling us a little bit about some of the work you guys were doing with kids in education.
I'm a member of this group called the Black Community Task Force. Me and my partner, Linda Wallace-Pate, is based in Los Angeles, where she is one of the top civil rights attorneys for mass separation, kids that's been taken by the city and state. And when these kids go into the system, they lose their identity with the family, and some of these kids are abused. So she's been fighting to get these kids back home, and she's sued the city on behalf of these kids that's been abused by the city. So we've actually rescued 300 kids over the last 12 years, brought them back home, and we've sent 250 of those kids off to one of the top 5 tech schools in the country, from Compton and Watts to UCI Irvine in Southern California.
That's right. Kudos.
That's big. Yeah, that's big right there.
It's all about that.
So taking somebody that nobody cares about, it seems like.
Absolutely.
You know, that's crazy. That's
turning the negative into a positive.
Man, that's big, man. I
Thanks.
love it.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, with that being said, tell us something that we don't know about. Tell us something that we haven't heard about yet that you've been working on in the community. You said something about a professor. That was interesting.
Yeah. What we're doing, we are just in the process of receiving a building from the mayor of New York City. The mayor's office is about to give us a building. In that building, we're going to build a tech community pavilion. It's going to be a school that teaches kids coding, programming, and game development. We have some of the top people in that field, domestically as well as foreign, that's going to come in and teach the kids how to, instead of playing Instagram and Twitter, how to create the app. Since there's so much into social media, why not be an owner instead of a player?
Right.
So we'll teach the kids how to make the app and how to do coding and programming and game development. So I have some of the people from Microsoft, Apple, Toshiba, Panasonic. They're going to be distributing and giving free computers, desktops, laptops, and phones to all the kids that enrolls into the program.
And that's only in New York?
There's going to be New York and LA and Detroit. 3 cities.
How do the kids become a part of that?
We're going to have a drive. When we have that drive, I'll come back on and I'll talk about where they can submit their application. We'll look at the application and see who's most qualified to be in the program. It's going to be a free program. It's not going to be any money out their pockets. Even down to the snacks is going to be free. Everything's going to be sponsored by different companies. And after we get to a certain point, we'll hire some of these kids to work with us at VR Innovator.
Oh, that's killer,
man.
Yeah, you got to let us come and be a part of that.
Somehow,
some way.
You guys are really part of it. Absolutely. So it's all about the kids at the end of the day, you know.
Right. Okay. Well, we'll get back to some more with E-love in a minute. There's a few things that we wanted to address from last week, a few questions that some of the viewers had. One being Martha Vega. She asked, are we going to be opening an office in Sacramento? And the answer to that is we absolutely plan on being in Sacramento sometime soon. Currently, we're working on opening an office in Philadelphia. I think we're going to be Washington and
I want to go to
Atlanta. Soon after that. I think Ohio we already have on the schedule. But the goal for Unite the People is to have 2 offices in every state in the United States. So, of course, Sacramento is definitely one of our main targets. The second question that we're going to be asking is from Pepe Salas. He asked what if he's already out of prison, but he had a bad public defender? Is there anything that he can do about that? That question, I would say, and I'm not a lawyer, I'm just, CEO and co-founder of the organization. But I would say that's something that you definitely would want to call our offices at 888-245-9393. You'd want to give them a call, Pepe, get a free consultation with one of our lawyers, and they can pretty much walk you through what can or couldn't be done in that situation. I don't want to give you an answer on air, and I'm not a lawyer. So we do have another question. Martha Vega asked, what about SB 81 and what is SB 81? Well, SB 81 we have right here, and it's the new bill it's a guidance bill on enhancements. And as of right now, that bill is in suspense. And what that means by being in suspense is it's already been brought to the floor. They already see it. They're waiting for it to go through the next level. So as of right now, it's suspended. It's not dead, but it's not active. It's suspended. They will be getting back to it. Now, what I do want to say this, earlier today, I did receive a message from a few people, something that where a status on that may have changed. But before we go on air and say whether what it is, we're going to wait and see. So we'll let everyone know next week more on 81.
You want to do a description of it? What they can look forward to?
Well, what it is, it's a dismissal of enhancements. It's basically kind of the same thing like what George Gascon is doing here in Los Angeles, but kind of making it more throughout the entire state. It's kind of similar to our hashtag Reunite campaign. Right now, Unite the People has currently launched a campaign to change the enhancement laws here in California to where the underserved communities, if you just say what it is, well, you could say Black or Hispanic, but it's more so the underserved communities, right? Because it doesn't matter. It's more about where you live and kind of your income.
Exactly.
But what we're looking to change is that enhancement law throughout the state of California. We want to make something like that non-existent. A guy we feel should get the time for the crime that he committed. Again, like we always say, we're not saying that nobody should go to prison. Everyone knows I'm a formerly incarcerated person myself. And hey, if you do the crime, you should do the time. But you should do the time for the crime you committed, not enhancement time, or alternative 3-strike sentences, so that the state can get paid. The state gets $88,000 a year per person. So that's kind of big business for the state right now. And they fight real hard to stop organizations from making that change. We get a lot of pushback on that. We're currently involved in the campaign to stop, and I know you're familiar with George Gascon. He's the head DA here in Los Angeles, and they have a recall going on for Gascon right now. They have to gather a little more than 500,000 signatures by October 27th. And if that does happen, right now, Unite the People is working with a couple other organizations like Athletes for Impact, the Weldon Angelos Project, a few other organizations. We're working to put together a campaign to support Gascon, bring in some artists, some athletes, and things like that people like that in order to help support Mr. Gascon and the good work he's doing out here in Los Angeles for our communities.
I got a question for E-love. Let me jump in real quick.
Sure, no problem.
E-love, you're from New York?
Queens, yeah. Well, I'm from the Caribbean, but grew up in Queens.
Okay, from Queens. But you stay in LA also?
Yeah, of course. LA and Tokyo.
And Tokyo. Tokyo is not for this question.
What's up?
Big baller. No. But have you seen what's the differences and the similarities that with the police departments and the judicial systems on the East Coast and the West Coast that you have noticed, or have you even noticed similarities or differences?
The cops on the West Coast, to me, I think they're much more aggressive than the East Coast, personally. Yeah, oh yeah. Because in the East Coast, when they pull you over, they just ask you, turn up the car, put your hands on the wheel, then they walk up on you. On the West Coast, step out your car, put your hands up, get on the ground. Oh, You didn't even ask me for my license. You didn't ask me for my license.
I'm 88 years old.
Exactly. So, to me, the cops, especially in LA, are definitely much more aggressive than NYPD. And I think right away out here, they just size you up. Are you a banger? What part of town are we in? They start sizing you up right away before they get to you. Whereas in New York, they look at your credentials first and like, okay, there's no warrant out for you. We don't smell weed. So now we can have a conversation with you.
Oh,
this is why I pulled you over. Yeah, absolutely.
I thought New York would be wilder.
LAPD, and LAPD is, especially WeHo, West Hollywood Police, the Sheriff Department, they're not playing games.
Culver City.
That's the Klan in uniform in Culver City, no doubts about it. Yeah,
Culver City.
I didn't say nothing.
I mean, there's
no doubt.
Southern California. I mean, hey, Culver City police got out the car, putting their shit together. I said, hey man, I already know about you guys. We're cool. We're squad. The cop told me, oh, you know about us?
But you know.
And then and they got back in their car and left. I'm like, wait,
really?
Yeah, he was really trying to prove a point. Culver City, Calabasas. Calabasas. I mean, they have to change something. It's too
1,000. You saw they had 1,000.
That way. Yeah.
I used to have an office in Newberry out there.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So I'm very familiar with that 101. It's a speed trap.
Man,
it's a speed trap.
Man, I'm talking about straight corrupt.
Yeah.
Corrupt. There's a few more out here, but there's also some good ones.
No, that's
to me.
I always run to the
Hollywood police. I think they're awesome because you have to be messing up for them to mess with you.
Exactly.
Kind of like Long Beach PD.
Yeah, Long Beach PD. I think
Long Beach PD. Since we've been around Long Beach in our offices here in Long Beach, I haven't noticed personally, and I'm somebody that will absolutely tell the truth, right?
Yeah.
I haven't noticed Long Beach PD really harassing people.
Okay.
I've seen people get pulled over, but you don't see the get on the curb, put your face like some, you see online where they have the pregnant lady out on the freeway,
kicked in the head,
and they're kicking on her.
Yeah.
So you don't necessarily. I haven't seen that here in Long Beach. We have dealt with the mayor here in Long Beach, really good guy, Robert Garcia.
Okay.
A few of the council women. A lot of people here. We've done quite a bit of work here in the community.
Okay.
So there's quite a few people. I don't want to go into naming everyone, but there's quite a few people that we've dealt with, and other organizations. One thing that, and I know this is kind of off the road here, but one thing you learn, or one thing I've learned since being released from prison, the nonprofit organizations, or even I don't even want to say nonprofit, the organizations here in California that deal with mass incarceration, that deal with a lot of different things, you would think for the most part everybody would be like on the same page,
right?
And it's not necessarily like that. It's more like territorial. We have found since we came out, we provide we don't do pro bono cases. We do what's called low bono. We want, of course, we have to pay the lawyers and the legal team, but we want to be able to see everyone in the community, no matter how much money you make, be able to afford good legal representation. Yeah. So we came out here to do that. And one of the biggest things that I noticed from other organizations is that's the majority of your pushback. The majority of your pushback is other organizations that maybe say they're doing some of the same things, but not necessarily are, in my opinion.
They're doing it for clout.
Okay, or grants. A lot of people. While I was incarcerated, I used to see this a lot, and that's kind of what fueled a lot of our fire to create this organization. While I was incarcerated, there was numerous organizations that used to come up to the prisons, and they would sit down and they'd have like an hour meeting with like 4 guys off the yard, and then they would go back, and you would see later on that this organization just got they just won $1 million grant for prison reform work because they went up there for an hour and talked to 4 people. And you see that quite a bit. I'm not going to name any names, but you see that quite a bit. So that's kind of something that we try to shy away from here. And if anybody's willing to work, if you're from another organization and you're willing to work in the community and work on mass incarceration, and mass separation, like he says, then that's something that we're absolutely interested in, and you can contact us at any time.
What's the number?
At 888-245-9393.
What if they were living under a rock and don't have a number, but they have a
website, a computer.
Yeah, they want to go to the website.
Website is unitethepeople.org, and you can come check us out there. We are currently doing a few things, and I did want to bring this up. We're working with an organization, a really large, not an organization, a company, a really large company right now. We're not going to name their names because it's a pilot program that they just started, but they have contacted us and they want us to get the word out, have people contact us. You can go on our website, hit the contact us button. You can call 888-245-9393. And there's a large company. It's based out of Northern California, and they have a pilot program where they're bringing guys who are either currently getting out of prison or just been released from prison, somewhere recently within a year or so. And they're offering these guys an 18-month pilot program where they're taking these guys in, they're training them to work there at their company, really large company, super large. And they're training them there for 18 months with pay, with insurance, with all the benefits you need. And after the 18-month program, if it was a good fit, if the guy did well, they're actually offering them jobs that are more towards the top tier of the company, as opposed to just this individual being on the line, entry level job. So that's big, that's huge, because everyone who has a loved one that's been released, or if you've been released yourself, getting a good job is definitely something that's hard to do. Like, a job where you can actually take care of your kids and wife and have a future is really, really hard to do. So that's something that's big. We've been working with them on there. We do have a few people already in the program. Few people have gotten really good jobs already. And once this program expands, then we'll be announcing it. We'll be having people call in. But if you're currently in Northern California or have a loved one currently in Northern California and they're looking for something like that, a really good job, contact us and just let them know to put you in touch with Mitch or myself, and we'll see if we can get you on the road and connect you with that company.
What was the hourly pay? What was it?
They didn't say the hourly pay, but it's a really, really nice level job. And we also, now that you mentioned that, this is what I think you're talking about. Yeah. There's another company that just contacted us recently, a really large company again. They deal with a lot of clearing trees for the state, clearing forest areas for the state. And they contacted us recently, and they're going to be looking for guys. And this doesn't matter whether you're in Northern California or Southern, doesn't matter where you're at. Their starting pay for training is what, $25 an hour? Or was it $40 an hour?
That was $45.
It was $45 an hour. You can start off at $45 an hour, which is really great. I might go myself, but you start off at $45. They take you, they train you, but you do leave home. Yeah. You're going to go out with them. They have an area where they train guys on how to clear the trees. You live there, you eat there, and every day. What is it called? A per diem?
Yeah, per diem.
Yeah, they give you a certain amount of money every day to exist. So if that's something that, again, you have a loved one or yourself is interested in, you contact us at 888-245-9393. Ask for Caesar or Mitch, and we'll see what we can do and get you involved in one of those programs.
Awesome. I got one more question for you, since you said Tokyo.
Sure, no problem.
You said Tokyo, right? How's as a minority of America, how do you feel with the court systems and the police departments in Tokyo? I mean, what's the difference between them and here?
Who's the minority?
Blacks.
We're the majority. We built this country.
You know what I mean.
I've never had a problem with cops or any racial situation in Tokyo ever. I've been there 7 years.
Have you seen it? You've never seen it?
Oh, I've never seen it. Yeah, I've never seen it to my face. Wow. I've never heard it. I've never seen it. What they said after I left them, who knows? But while I was there, I got funded by a publicly traded company in Tokyo. I bought Stanley there in 2016. I got funded in 2016. We had 150,000 people at my event 3 straight days. It was Stanley and Jeremy Renner. After that, I went to China. We got distribution for the game. Asia has treated me great. So
I've heard
for
that.
me, it's been great. Here has been another. So I could give you stories about right here in Texas.
Why do you think that is?
Give us one of them stories.
Man, I'm at George Hobby Airport in Houston. This is about 6:45 in the morning. First flight out. I'm trying to catch my flight. I'm going through the TSA. You know, I have the mask on. It says Biden Harris on it, right? They just
You in trouble.
I'm going through TSA. This guy started checking me 3 times. I'm like, dude, there's nothing on me. It's my buckle that keeps going off. He says, I'll check as many times as I like. He signals the police to come over. Next thing you know, 6 cops surround me. It's 6 o'clock in the morning. So this girl, this Caucasian chick, she started filming this. He said, hey, you, miss, put that camera down. I don't have to put no camera down. My mother's an attorney. I'm going to keep filming just in case anything goes down. It's funny that she's talking back to him. There's no problem with her talking back to him, but I'm not going to talk back to this cop here, but they have a problem with me right off the bat.
Because you asked the question.
Because I asked the question. You see what I'm saying? So, Houston, Texas, if you're a black state out of Texas, you should not be living in Texas. Yeah. I'm not a fan of the South at all, personally.
Right.
Especially Texas. So,
I have a distaste for Texas.
So they missed me. I was there for about an hour and a half. I missed my flight. I got on the next one, but that's one of the stories that actually happened while I was in Houston, Texas.
Wow.
In the airport.
But you find in Tokyo.
Fine in Tokyo.
In another country.
No problem. And I got funded.
It was beautiful. Right.
Yeah.
I have a story about Texas. Back when I was in my younger years, Mitch was in the military, right? He was training up, doing boot camp or something up at Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri.
Okay.
And I was I supposed to say that? That's all right. Yeah, so
Fort Leonard Wood.
Yeah. Hey, I like it too. But he was training up there at Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. And my mother and a friend of mine, we actually drove from California to Fort Leonard Wood. And we stopped through Texas. Right?
Do that.
And when we stopped through Texas, now anybody that knows me knows,
You wanted to get some whites only pies?
Yeah, so, my mother's Caucasian and mixed.
Okay.
And, my father's African American, black, right? So we get there and we're going through Texas. So we pull over at a Denny's. And my mother goes and sits in a section. I'm with a friend. We go to another section. And the friend is also black. And as my mother sits over there, I'm seeing they're bringing her coffee and salads and croutons, and me and the other young lady. Really nice, right?
Yeah.
And there's nobody in here. We're like the only people in the whole Denny's. And there's about 4 or 5 servers that are sitting in the middle serving station of the Denny's. Like they're all sitting there with ripped jeans, long hair. There's no Denny's outfits, none of that, right? And so the young lady and I are sitting there. We end up there for about, I'm listening to these guys talk. They're over there talking about, and it's all white kids. And they're over there talking about Tupac and whether he's dead, whether he's coming back, and all the rest of that. And as we're sitting there, starving, we finally like, man, good Lord, ma'am, can you, we call the young lady over, one of the servers. She comes over there and says, hey, we don't serve your kind.
Really? Okay.
And I was like, huh, what? And she's like, no, we don't serve your kind over here. You got to get back on the road. You see that? Oh, it was like a freeway overpass. I can still picture it, but I don't know exactly where I was. I was either off of Highway 40 or 44. But the young lady says, you see that road down here? You take that road, go on the other side of that freeway overpass, and they'll serve you guys over there, but we're not serving you nothing here. And that kind of made me go like, okay, stay out of Texas, right?
Yeah.
It definitely gets...
Yeah, not too long, the other day. We was in Panola County.
The same thing.
Oh, you heard of Panola?
So we're going through Panola. We drove to Atlanta.
Road trip.
Mitch, we took a road trip with our uncle, and we drove out to Atlanta. And we stopped through Texas. and we stopped in a place called Panola, Texas, and we stopped at a gas station, and we were taking turns paying for, who has to pay the gas, right? It was my turn. So I jump out 2:00 in the morning, whatever. I go into the gas station, and I say, I walk in like, oh, hey, whatever. And the lady tells me, like, hey, you're safe coming in here right now, but you are not safe coming in here any other day. You're safe because I'm here, but blacks aren't allowed in here. And I paid for my gas, went and got back in the truck, and we got out of there. And this was a few weeks ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah, this isn't something back in the 70s.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, I wasn't even mad at
knowledge.
the fact that she told me that, I went ahead and gone on out of there.
Yeah.
So yeah, we definitely are familiar with things like that, but
Man, I think that's crazy. Like on.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because we can't go nowhere. You know what I'm saying? We're not originally. We're so far away from Africa, so many generations away from Africa that there's a difference. I think.
Well, Black Americans, they have no connection to Africa. See,
Right.
Asian people that come to America, Europeans that come to America, if it does not work
Mexicans.
here, Latin people that come from Mexico, if it does not work here for the Asians, they go back.
Yeah.
We have no place to go to because we have no connection to over there. So
I got Rialto.
Yeah,
That's it.
exactly.
right.
You go home to Rialto.
Right. Well, one of the things I do want to make sure that we bring up is there's an assembly bill called 2542 here in California. And this is something that we can all weigh in on because it relates to everyone in this room. And we're multi-racial in this room right now, with the producers and ourselves. One thing, it's Assembly Bill 2542. And that deals with it's the California Racial Justice Act of 2020.
Speaking of race.
And what that is it's a bill that was signed into law by Governor Newsom last year in September. And what it is basically, it prohibits the courts, the judges, the DAs, anybody to say, act, do anything racial during your criminal case. And if they do, you're supposed to be able to petition for relief on that. Now, there's a few things that's happening with that right now. One of them is this bill, and I'm just going to cut it. I just read it how they gave it to me. But
and if you're watching, pay attention. Listen to this part.
So this bill right here is guys like me that were incarcerated. There was a bunch of racial things done in my trial. I mean, literally, the word "your black ass" and all of that came from the DA. My brother stood up in court, and I'll get through this pretty quick, but my brother stood up in court and told, I went to prison. I had 3 life sentences for a nonviolent crime. My wife cheated. I cussed her out, threw stuff around the house, and got life for cussing at her and telling her, hey, I'll kill you for cheating. Got life for telling her B word, get back in the house, and got life for having this argument and all that in front of my 2-year-old son. They called it false imprisonment with her, telling her to get back in the house. They gave me life for telling her, hey, I'll kill you for cheating on me. They gave me life for telling her, I'm going to just say the words, bitch, get back in the house. She was coming out the house when I was leaving behind me and asking me like, hey, you just going to leave your kids or whatever. And then they also gave me life for having the argument in front of my 2-year-old, right? So I was given 3 life sentences and went to, during that. But during the case, Mitch stands up one time, and there's a few things that the DA did in my case that was 100% illegal. But there was no actual law saying that, hey, you can't use racial slurs or you can't do certain things during a trial. And this bill here changes that. It's huge, right? But for instance, Mitch stands up in the court one day. He's frustrated. He sees what they're doing. I'm over there, my head spinning, right? I can't, they're about to give me forever for an argument. And he tells the DA, I'm going to go get Johnny Cochran. And the DA tells him in open court, if you go get Johnny Cochran's black ass, I promise you, I give your brother life, right? And those were her words in open court. There was another time where the DA told my attorney, it wasn't our turn up to speak, but my attorneys were at the tables, and they take turns. It's your case, then mine. Our attorneys were up at the tables. The DA's at the table. My attorney was a real bum, right? It was a real bum. But this guy goes and tells her, like, hey, let's give him some type of deal. It's just an argument. She turns around in front of everybody and says, tell Caesar to get on his hands and knees right now, kiss my ass, and I'll only give him one life sentence, right? And they
One life sentence.
Yeah, but they get away with things like that in California because no matter what we say, there's no law behind us.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? There was one other thing, which to me, she only did this, and I can say it was racial, but it's more she doesn't give a damn about me because she knew, hey, he's black, Hispanic, or broke.
Yeah.
And one of those they don't really care about, right? But so she tells my jury, in my case where I had this argument, they're trying to make me to be this vicious guy. So she tells the jury, well, Mr. McDowell has had 13, it was either 11 or 13, prior assault and battery charges before this. So you should believe that all of these things he said were true. But I have never once ever in my entire life been arrested for, charged with any type of assault and battery, ever.
Yeah.
Besides this, argument in this case was verbal. But so anyway, back to.
I mean, I was a bail bondsman, and she's like, I bailed him out on an $80,000 bond, and she went off. Oh, well, he's a bail bondsman. You know how they are.
Yeah.
Shit, I'm a bail bondsman. I don't know how they are.
And that's what she's telling the judge.
Yeah.
Right? She's telling the judge she didn't want me to get bail on an argument. I'm 24, 25 years old. I'm not some, Charles Manson guy. But now they have this bill.
Yeah.
Now they have the California Racial Justice Act of 2020.
2542.
And 2542. And what that is, boy, you're sharp. And what that is guys that if you feel that you were discriminated against because of your race, when you were going to trial, when you were sentenced, whatever it may be, you can now file on that. Well, not yet. This bill would make it to where you could have filed on that and say, hey, look, I was sentenced to this amount of years, and the guy next to me was only sentenced to, the same crime, but the white guy. And I hate making it racial because everybody has these problems. It's really more about your class. It's not about racism, to be honest. But so now you can go and file something on that, right?
Yeah.
Now the key to this is, though, when I first read this bill, the first thing I thought was like, oh man, there's so many guys that's going to get some relief, right? I know personally, I was in prison 20 years before I was released.
Wow.
I know half the prison population almost in California, and probably 75% of the people I know, this bill would fit. So this is going to be huge. This is going to be everybody trying to get their sentences done, everybody trying to get their sentences reduced, but it's not retroactive. Now, with it not being retroactive, what that means is if you're currently in prison, you don't count. It doesn't qualify. You don't qualify. This is going to be for...
Because they made it retroactive, they're going to have to let go a lot of COs. It's going to clean prisons out.
And if you think about it, the majority of prisons are black and Hispanic, or again, broke white people. Mm-hmm. And this bill here will change a lot for a lot of people. It's going to give a lot of people action. That the problem was they didn't make it retroactive. And when you don't make it retroactive, that means the 130,000 guys that are currently incarcerated, there's only going to be a handful of them. They'll probably do it like they did with 1170, where it's the last 120 days or you're still on direct appeal, meaning you just got your case. Those guys could probably still petition. I don't know for sure.
Which is a good thing.
I would have to talk to the lawyers about it. But those guys, plus everybody else, should be able to petition. So they have an Assembly Bill 256, and that would turn this bill retroactive. Now that's big. Now that bill right now is currently in suspense, like 81. But it being in suspense doesn't mean it's dead. It doesn't mean it's over with. It means they've seen it and they have to do whatever they have to do to move forward on that. Mm-hmm. But if that bill, AB 256, passes, the majority of the prison system should be petitioning the courts ASAP. Contact us, contact our lawyers. I don't care who you contact. I just want to see that many people be able to get a fair shake for once. Like you see it, it's just, we were having a discussion earlier with some of our team here and the producers, Peyton and Destiny, who basically did the majority of producing the show on their own this week, which was great, and definitely appreciate them for doing that.
Chelsea?
Oh, and Chelsea. Yeah, I don't want no problems from Chelsea. Chelsea, I have me. And then we have Tony, though. We don't want to forget about Tony. Tony shows up. He's the ambassador to the organization, though. So anything I do, Tony does. So from the top to the bottom, he's involved. But if this bill 256 passes, you make sure your loved one files a petition. You go through their case, get a case review, contact us. We'll go through, we'll have our lawyers do their entire case, review every page of their case from the first till today. And you go through and you find wording, verbiage, anything that's used that are those little trigger words for, oh, you're black, you're Hispanic, you're broke. Yeah. You find those things, you want to petition these courts, and everybody incarcerated needs to be filing on this. If you feel it fits you, if you feel it doesn't, and race had nothing to do with your sentencing, then of course don't do it. But definitely contact us, our lawyers, our legal team here, the specialists at Case Reviews. We're one of the best that I've heard of so far, and I've heard of quite a few, but nobody really digs in and fights for the people like our lawyers do here. So this would be huge. So I just wanted to say that. You have anything you want to put in on that, E-love or Mitch?
I think it's awesome, but you said it's in suspense,
right?
So is there something that people could do to assist that to getting out of suspense?
Well, what they can do is contact us, right? And I say that we're not involved in that, but contacting us, our legal team will be able to tell them, like we did with the one bill that I won't go through naming right now because it'll take a long conversation, but there was a bill that we helped pass on the Senate floor that was huge, helped a lot of people. And there may be something that we can do here. As of right now, it passed the assembly floor, but it's just currently on the suspense file. So until they're ready to pick it up and move further, then they can. But if AB 256 passes, we're going to try to get 70% of the prison population. I'm personally going to try to make sure they get home. You know what I mean? Okay. But is there anything you think about this bill you want to add?
Not just this bill, but we have the upcoming midterm elections coming up. It's right around the corner, midterms. Right. Everybody really needs to get out and support and make sure that there's all those states that's passing those voter registration laws where they don't want certain people to vote at the end of the day. That's all. Yeah. Right. So they need to keep the vote out, because what we did in Atlanta when Charnock and I can't remember his name, but when they had the runoffs, when the Dems took the seats back in Atlanta, we actually have 10 underground club DJs, 10 DJs that's at different levels, from FM radio to clubhouse DJs. We had the DJs put together a voter registration drive where we actually registered 5 million new voters.
Wow.
That's why
that's
they
huge.
won. That's why they won.
They won because of you.
Yeah. So we're going to do that across the country to keep the seats right. Because in Arkansas, there's very interesting races playing in Arkansas. You have that Sarah Huckabee, who used to be Trump's press secretary. She's running for governor right now. Okay. Wow. And she already raised 5 million against the Democrat that she's running. Her brother, very sharp dude, he only raised 300,000. So we need to get him some money so we can get him up there so he can.
So it could be a fair fight.
Exactly. So that's the page I'm on right now. So
that's big.
Yeah. So that's what we're focusing on the midterms to keep is blue, and to make sure that they retain their seats.
Man,
Okay.
well, is there some way that you want the people that they can contact or help or assist?
Yeah, they could just hit you guys up, or you can just get at me at E-love Global on my IG, or you can shoot the email dmatthias411@gmail, and we'll let
Can you say that email one more time?
D Matthias Matthias. That's my last name.
He be saying it like it's
411
Jones.
Yeah.
D Matthias Matthias 411@gmail. We'll holler back at you.
Absolutely.
There it is. That's
All right. Yeah. So with that being said, it's about time for us to get out of here. There's a few things that we want to go over really fast. Next week and in the future, we're going to be bringing on more, like I said, our legal team members. I personally want the people to DM us any questions they have. Even have your loved one write into us if he has questions that he wants answered on the air for you and other people to hear. Have them write us. Have them write us at the office, the 555 East Ocean Boulevard, Suite 205, Long Beach, California.
Or just DM us on Instagram. That's probably the easiest way too.
Yeah.
Well, or they could do that.
Yeah.
But either way it goes, you guys contact us. The one last question that I'm going to read before we go today came from a young lady in Riverside, California.
Oh,
Okay.
No, I'm
And Riverside's all right place for people. But how do we support, again, okay, we went over this last week. How do you support our nonprofit organization? There's a few ways to go about it. One, you could donate. You can go to our website, hit the donate button. You can donate directly to us. All donations that come into Unite the People go to helping families who can't afford even our low bono services. All donations, anything that comes in goes to helping those families that can't even afford that. We have women or people who contact us that are on SSI and they only get a few $100s per month, but their loved one needs good legal representation as well. So you want to donate, you could donate that way. You can give us a call. We'll take your donations over the phone. You call us at 888-245-9393. However you want to do it. We even take volunteers. You want to come volunteer in the office and see the work that Unite the People actually does. We have people that do that. So again, thank you, Brother E-love, man.
Anytime, brother. Appreciate that,
I
brother.
love sitting next to we're going to shake hands. I'm sitting with a legend. I watched this guy. I just wanted to be like them big buff guy, with the pose, right?
my favorite one. I kick my volume way past 10.
See you guys next week, 6 to 7 o'clock. Thank you.
Appreciate you guys.
All right, you ready to end it?
All right.